You know, sometimes when a show features a fictional book, the producers do something incredibly cool and bring the book into reality. This is a great tactic to make whatever franchise much more of an immersive experience, and perhaps to get the audience to feel more like they're a part of the show's world as well. But then sometimes you get nonsense like this. Canterlot High Tell-All. Like, even though this isn't from the show, it's a memoir written by the Equestria Girls. And you know, that totally piqued my interest. Initially, I looked this book up to see if I can find any information about it online, right? But the only thing that really came up were listings of used copies, plus this Equestria Daily article that came out to shout out the Amazon listing rather than a summary or analysis of the book or anything like that. My point being that the only place where I could see anyone talking about this book were just filled with comments like, I want this book, and similar sentiments to that. Seeing this, I took it upon myself to cough up about $40 for a used copy, which means that I had to sacrifice the funds for almost 3 whole meals at McDonald's, so you're welcome, guys. Anyways, if you boast your book as a tell-all of your entire school, we expect there to be some juicy gossip in here. And spoiler alert, there kind of is. There's a page in here where the girls talk about their crushes, and that's kind of cool. But we'll get there when we get there. Let's first torture ourselves by doing something called reading and see if this is a hidden gem or if this is like actually a poorly written and ugly mess. But even if it is, because no one else is talking about this, you know, someone's got to do it, right? I mean, if nothing else, because this is a journal written in character by the girls, surely it'll be a good character study into their motivation and stuff, right? But before we even get a peek inside, what the heck is wrong with this cover? I'm not sure what it is exactly, and I can't really seem to point it out, but does this picture not look like a fan render rather than an actual screenshot or official vector? It's like a weird mix of the official promo designs and the show designs. Like, I'm really having a hard time grasping my head around at who approved this. Like, why do their lips look so extra fancy? Not to mention Pinky's black outlined ear. It just looks so out of place. And also, we're not letting this image off the hook either. Why the heck are Rarity's outlines so thick compared to Rainbow Dash's? And Sweet Celestia, what the heck is going on with Applejack's hand? Also, you may have noticed, but there's no author listed anywhere on the cover, and not even on the side. Even the inside of the cover just lists off the girls' names. Though, it does make me rather curious. I mean, remember, I spent a good $40 on this thing, so I think I have a right to know who wrote it so I can give proper credit where credit is due. Perhaps the author's name is listed on the back cover. Irresponsible financial recklessness aside, how come Fluttershy and Rarity get these fancy renders, but Sunset is just left as this default cardboard cutout? Well, that upsets me. Doesn't it upset you, Sunset? Passive-aggressive much? I almost forgot that she loves to give me the silent treatment every time I take these for some reason. Anyways, because I have a tendency of reading the backs of books before the actual contents within the book for some reason, and we're here anyway, let's give this a read. Secrets of Canterlot High revealed. Isn't that implied by the name of the book already? Want to know what's on the minds of the popular Equestria Girls of Canterlot High? Wow, so much for immersion. Find out when you read this humorous book, written in their own words. Okay, so humor has been promised. I'll be the judge of that. Also, why is written in quotes? I thought the whole point of not having the author's name on this thing was to make it as immersive as possible. Their secret hopes, fears, and thoughts fill the pages, along with oodles of drawings and doodles. Okay, I get what fears means. I get what thoughts and drawings and even doodles are, okay? But what the heck is a secret hope? Is there anything worth hoping for if you have to keep it a secret? For example, some common hopes a lot of us have are good grades, health, wealth, a happy family. You see, hopes are something good that is generally shared. I don't get what the heck is a secret hope? I know I'm hyperfixating on this one little phrase, but I'm just like really lost. So the pre-page includes the creepiest photo in existence as a means of welcoming the reader. Like, duh, somebody save me. This is like the last thing you see before you get cannibalized. Anyways, our first actual page. Meet the main girls of Canterlot High. Wait, what do you mean by main? You do realize that the main 6 are called the main 6 because, you know, horses have manes? Human beings, the last time I checked, do not have manes. Hence why everyone calls these girls the main 7 with an I, not an N-E. Or the slightly stupider yet just as valid humane 7. At least that has the word human in it. You know, I'll just remain optimistic and hope that this is a pun based on the fact that their school is horse-themed. But still, why not label this section Meet the Friend Group or Meet the Squad or something? If we are to take this as something that the girls wrote, are we really to consider that they view themselves as the main characters of their entire high school? I mean, I suppose they deserve to since they saved the thing a couple times, but still, a little bit self-congratulatory, I would say. Essentially, we find out that the thesis of this book is to help Sci-Twi integrate into transferring to Canterlot High School, placing this slightly after the Friendship Games and before the Legend of Everfree. Which is cool because clearly there's been some time that's been passed between the movies, and it is nice to have this kind of thing to fill in the gaps between parts where we didn't get to see. So let's let these girls introduce themselves. Rarity here. I think this tell-all book will really help Twilight Sparkle when she transfers in from Crystal Prep. I will help make sure she always
puts her right foot forward, and that it will have the latest in footwear in it.
That last part was totally necessary.
I am always ready to have some fun, and I can't wait to show Twilight Sparkle how to have a great time at Canterlot High. I plan to help her loosen up a little and laugh a lot.
That last part was totally necessary.
This school really rocks, and talk about team spirit, there are so many ways Twilight Sparkle can join in and become one of us. I'll introduce her to music and sports opportunities for sure.
That last part was totally necessary. I sure do hope that these don't become one-note personalities for this entire book.
I am still learning a lot about myself, but I am sure that I don't know what I do without my friends, so I plan to be one to Twilight Sparkle. I'm kind of shy and quiet a lot of the time, and can't imagine being new somewhere. I'll make sure Twilight Sparkle has a lunch buddy. I'm just a country girl who likes to tell it like it is, so I'll be by Twilight Sparkle's side giving her some straight talk to help her figure things out about us and our school. But we're a pretty easy group to get to know.
Okay, that's reasonable, I guess.
I'm so excited to become a Wondercolt. Making friends is going to be my greatest experiment yet. I just hope I can live up to Twilight Sparkle from Equestria's reputation.
Experiment? Twilight Sparkle? Ugh. Anyways, it seems like there's a fun story ahead of us, so let's read on.
We love Canterlot High.
Second page. Did they only have the rights to use a certain amount of pictures or what? Anyways, this page lists off how the girls love their school. No, not what they love about their school, just the fact that they love school.
There's no better place to get a quality education. I really love CHS. Really, I love CHS. This is the best place.
That was totally necessary, and no, if you were wondering, there's nothing too insightful under this little flap. Also, as you can see, there are these random sticker sheets dispersed in between pages that should be joined together. Even then, judging by the fact that these girls attended CHS since freshman year, on what basis are we judging the quality of this particular high school off of? It's not like they attended any other ones to compare it to. Also, what the heck is going on with Rarity's arm here? That's terrifying.
Our Principal Celestia.
And now, before you ask, no, I will not nitpick and ask who the heck took this picture of Vinyl getting roasted by Celestia. But really, out of all the pictures you could have used to showcase how lovely and marvelous your principal is, you're going to choose the one where she's like literally reprimanding someone? Anyways, let's see what kind of insightful comments these girls have about their principal.
She is a wonderful principal. I would just like to see her wear her hair up sometimes though.
Okay?
She's so sweet and nice. One afternoon, she even helped me get balloons out of a tree in the schoolyard.
Is this supposed to be like a joke or something? Because I don't necessarily get it. I mean, none of these are really anything besides filler. However, Sunset writes,
let me just say I cannot do her job. Imagine dealing with all of us every day, especially me. Well, the old me.
What does she mean by dealing with all of us? I mean, this might be different in your high school, but personally, the one that I went to, the principal was very hands-off in terms of like talking to kids. And it was either always the teachers or vice principals that did all the dirty work. But I guess it might be different here because Canterlot High only has 6 faculty members. My favorite class. Okay, this might actually be the smallest high school class in existence, which makes sense considering the fact that they don't even have a teacher apparently, just 2 principals. And apparently Luna isn't good enough to deserve a page of her own. Anyways, like the title says, here are the girls list off their favorite class.
I really adore geometry. It helps me enormously with pattern making.
Okay, I mean clever, but surely she takes textiles as well, right?
I have such a hard time picking a favorite, but it's probably chemistry. I love how you combine things to make something new. It reminds me of baking.
Okay, clever, but surely she takes baking as well, right?
Gym class. Come on, let's go kick a soccer ball.
Based calling it soccer and not football.
I like music class because I get to sing in the chorus. And sometimes we set my poems to music and the whole chorus sings them.
I'm not quite sure if it's within Fluttershy's character to willingly share her poems to the entire class to get them to all sing it. But then again, I don't know what other class she'd specifically enjoy, so I'll give it a pass.
I like math class a whole lot. Numbers never lie, so they are teaching me a lot.
Wow, cool to see you're using a picture of a once every 4 years competition to symbolize your favorite class. My favorite teacher. Okay, so like I previously mentioned, if you know anything about Equestria Girls, it's that their high school literally has only a total of 5 faculty members, 6 if you count Miss Harshwini from the comics. So you're probably wondering how they're gonna fill out 2 whole pages talking about their favorite teachers. Well, let's find out.
Definitely Miss Shirley. I'm pretty surprised how patient she is with us when we're in the library.
Hold up, what's with this picture? This isn't your screen pulling tricks on you. This image that they used is genuinely this pixelated. And no, your eyes are not deceiving you. This Equestria Girls logo is actually in the picture. Who the heck approved this?
Mr. Cranky Doodle. It's my mission in life to turn his frown into a smile. Maybe then his wig won't fall off in class every day.
Okay, that actually is a pretty clever reference to the Cranky Doodle episode, so whoever the author is, congratulations. But now that we've used up the only 2 actual class teachers, let's see how they get creative with the rest of them.
Miss Clippity Clop. She's a pretty good English teacher, but I really like her because one time she started dancing in class. I love a teacher who isn't afraid to move it.
Clippity Clop. That's a strange name. I mean, out of all the things you can name this random character, you're gonna go with Clippity Clop? Why not just Walkity Walk at that point? Unless if this is a character from the show that I'm just not remembering. Let me look it up real quick. MLP Clop.
Mrs. Harshwinny when she shows her softer side.
I mean, surely you could have just used a picture of her from the comic. It's not like we're even pretending to care about art style consistency throughout this book.
I like all my science teachers, but I really wish I could find a magic teacher in this world.
Cop out. You're telling me you couldn't have just thrown us fans a bone and said, my science teacher, Dr. Hooves.
Well, she's not really a teacher, but she does teach me about life and stuff. My grandmother, Granny Smith, of course. Sweet to the core.
All right. I mean, she finally listed off like the only other faculty member that hasn't been mentioned yet, aside from Principal Luna. Quite the world building you've got there. Though I'm pretty sure that there's a word for this sort of thing. Though, speaking of which, isn't the fact that the two principals of the school are sisters an actual clear display of nepotism? It probably is when you consider how incompetent Luna seems to be in the movie. Shouldn't this be investigated? How I study for a test. Wow, this seems like a useful page. I usually have a difficult time studying for tests, so hopefully this has some useful tips.
Focus, focus, focus. No thoughts of parties, cupcakes, balloons, or my friends. What was the question?
Mood. But I mean, like, that's relatable and all, but surely there will be some actual tips in here, right?
Studying is the only time I seek comfort over style.
That doesn't answer the question. That barely even addresses the question.
When I study for a test, I play my guitar between every chapter that I have to review. The harder the test is going to be, the more I shred.
Okay, but what about in scenarios where I don't have access to my guitar? Oh, hey, look, it's my worst enemy. A+. Did someone say my name?
No.
Yes, you did. What you got there anyways? I sit outside under a tree and listen to the birds. As if you can relate to going outside.
Anyways,
my favorite school club. Okay, so the actual answers in this page don't matter individually, but I do find it kind of odd how they all answer differently, and in certain cases, answering stuff that the others wouldn't be interested in, such as how Sci-Twi says Science and Technology Club, which probably wouldn't interest Applejack, or how Rarity says Fashion Club, which wouldn't interest Rainbow Dash. However, we must ask, why don't we see these girls with other people from these clubs? In the main show, the main six all have friends outside the core group, like Rarity has those fashion ponies, Rainbow Dash has the Wonderbolts, Fluttershy has that doctor or whatever. However, in Equestria Girls, despite the girls theoretically being super popular due to saving the school and possibly the entire planet multiple times, we don't really see them with anyone else, and I think that's really odd.
The freshman class weighs in.
Why are there arrows explaining who Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle are but not Applebloom? Did they just forget to put that in there? Anyways, I guess this is funny.
My friend Sweetie Belle sits next to me in science class, and we both have a total crush on the boy in front of us.
I mean, that is sure to eventually cause some petty drama between them, right?
It can be kind of embarrassing to have your little sister in the same hallway at school.
Wow. So your sister's mere existence is embarrassing to you?
I can't go to school without.
Since I always fail my classes, I mean, in case you couldn't tell from my cutie mark and name, perhaps unlike that study page, this one will provide me with some actual tips and tricks to help me excel in school. Let's see what these girls can't go to school without.
Oh, that's easy. My charm bracelet and my little mirror, the one with my initials on it, and nail polish for touch-ups, and a needle and a thread just in case.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
And also, what the heck are Rarity's initials? Is it just an R? No one knows this, but I always make sure I have a bag of confetti in my locker, just in case.
Sure, nobody knows that. Let's go with that.
Bird seed.
I'm beginning to suspect that this book isn't actually a good piece of advisory content to help me with school. My water bottle. I always grab it before leaving the house. Oh, really? I thought you always grabbed it after leaving the house somehow. A bandana. Gotta have it. You've gotta have a banana? Bandana, silly. Bandana. Okay, that was actually pretty funny. I'll give it that. Spike. Yeah, I'm not really sure if that applies to my or literally anyone else in the world situation. Also, I know this is an incredibly minor detail to be caught up about, but how come all these pictures have tape over them except for sunsets? And why did they omit Twilight's name in this little box? They must have been incredibly tired when designing this.
My favorite outfit for the school picture.
There's nothing too noteworthy about this page at all, except for this hyper-realistic stencil of a camera. Considering cameras in this world look like this, what would the implications of the existence of this drawing be? My head hurts and it feels like this book is just a tumor slowly traversing through my brain. Let's move on.
Memories from the fall formal.
Here, the girls just talk about some silly hijinks that they went on, such as,
remember when I almost didn't finish everyone's outfits in time?
Still sorry I spilled my cup of red punch on you, Pinkie Pie.
Oh, that's okay, Rainbow Dash. It matched my dress.
But then Applejack just barely brings up what she actually did like about the formal and says,
Loved the dancing too, Fluttershy, but is no one going to mention what went on with Sunset Shimmer?
which clearly upsets Sunset. Like, does she just have a secret vendetta against her or something?
My favorite class trip, the adventure park. Even though I'm still getting over when the Ferris wheel got stuck at the top. It was so windy that my hair kept getting messed up.
Hey guys, I don't know if you noticed or not, but this isn't exactly a Ferris wheel. I'm assuming this sentence about her hair being messy was due to this picture, so why not just replace Ferris wheel in the sentence with roller coaster? That would have been such an easy fix. At least this ticket looks pretty cool. But anyways, what kind of class trips are these? The city? The park? What's next? A field trip to the grocery store? Actually, now that I am recording this, I do remember going to a field trip to the grocery store for PE to teach us about nutrition, but whatever. The rain booms. Okay, that is a pretty cool picture. Except how none of these instruments have straps, so they're kind of just floating there. Also, is it safe to assume that this character placement was made to deliberately hide Rarity's hideous arm? Aside from that, the only thing confusing me about this page is how this drum cutout is clearly the exact same as the one in the picture. Why is the Rain Boom's logo either edited on here or edited out here? Like, how did things even end up like that? Well, at least now we have a use for the stickers from earlier. But I find it quite interesting how the images on the sticker are identical to the ones in the poster, and this poster seems to display an optimal placement of the members. I'm not really sure how one is meant to one-up this on their own version. Like, why not give us stickers of different poses?
Remembering the Battle of the Bands.
I mean, this page is literally just a recap of Rainbow Rocks. It's nothing, like, too crazy. Unlike this next page,
My favorite song.
this page is about the girl's favorite piece of music. And that's actually interesting, because nowadays, music seems to be one of the only things that unites all of humanity together, regardless of class or gender or culture or political spectrum. It sure would be nice to know what these girls' favorite songs of all time are so that we can click with them more personally on that extra level. So let's see what these girls' favorite songs of all time are.
Right now, it's Life is a Runway. Any song where I get to shred my guitar is my fave. My past is not today.
Okay, so remember the topic of this page is my favorite song, not what is your favorite song you've ever made. It's your favorite song in existence. Okay, at least with Sunsets, My Past is Not Today. That's a very personal song about her growth as a person, so like, whatever, I'll give it that, but wouldn't have made much more sense and wouldn't have been so much more heartfelt if someone else said, My Past is Not Today. Sunset did such a good job with blah, 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 blah. The rest of them answered with songs that they were all involved with as a band, which I guess is good, but that's literally only because these three didn't have any solo songs out at the time. And also, what a missed opportunity. They could have put parody names of already existing songs, kind of give us an idea of what these girls would listen to. But oh well, you made them narcissists instead. But at least they're only talking themselves up instead of talking other people down.
The worst thing about the Dazzlings.
Okay, so just when I'm trying to give credit where credit is due, you go ahead and pull this on me. Also, the Dazzlings were some pretty evil characters, and this page is about the worst things about them. Are you telling me that you deem them being bad singers as their greatest sin, as opposed to, I don't know, like, turning the entire school against each other?
They were so bad that Starswirl the Bearded banished them from Equestria long ago. They were just simply dreadful.
That's not exactly an answer to the worst thing about the Dazzlings. You're literally just explaining why the question is being asked in the first place. That would be like if someone asked you, hey, what's 2 + 2? And you answer with like, you see, the cool thing about numbers is you can add them. That's not an answer!
They used their magic in a really bad way and got the whole school under their spell. It was hard at first, but
Okay, Applejack, we get it. All your friends gave short and concise answers. I didn't realize you were trying to become the CEO of Yapplebee's. My secret crush. Oh boy, it's this page. Let's see who these girls have a crush on.
Okay, I'm not going to say who my crush is, but I know a certain little purple someone who is back in Equestria and who has a crush on me.
Cop out.
That guy on the baseball team.
I didn't realize I was on the baseball team.
I don't even know his name.
F-.
But when he caught that fly ball the other day, wow.
I didn't realize I caught the fly ball the other day. What?
I'm going to write this really fast because it's a confession. Shining armor. There, I said it.
Shh. Before we get into the implications of this, how the heck does Pinky even know who Shining Armor is? They don't go to the same school. In fact, Shining is an adult, so how the heck did this even happen? When did they get a chance to meet and for Pinky to develop a crush on him? Also, the fact that they went out of their way to make Shining Armor an alumni in the friendship games was most likely to hint at the fact that him dating or getting married to Cadence in the human world wouldn't be weird. So, if they are together, I mean, wow, Pinky, you didn't strike me as a homewrecker, but at least you gave someone specific instead of being a cop-out like these other two.
Oh boy, that earthy guy who plays in the Green Cycle Band. I'm too shy to let him know that he gives me butterflies.
Uncovering the flap shows Fluttershy gushing over the guy, and I guess that's kind of cute. Still, something about this rubs me the wrong way. Imagine being microchips here. Put yourself in his shoes for a second here. You're geeky, so you aren't the most well-liked student among your peers. But then you find out that the 6 most popular girls in class, heck, the whole school, are in the process of creating a scrapbook that will be representative of the entirety of Canterlot High. They start working on a page where they write about their crushes, and you hear through the grapevines that they decided to include a picture of you in the page. Yes, you. So you somehow eventually get your hands on this book. You optimistically flip to the page, thinking to yourself, ooh, I wonder which one of them has a crush on me. I hope it's Pinky, she's so funny, or Rainbow Dash, she's so cool, or Rarity, she's so pretty. And then it dawns on you that the only reason you are in this book is to show that one of the girls has a crush on your best friend and not you. And on top of that, they don't even acknowledge your existence. They literally only used this image because they had no other option. You know damn well deep inside that if they had access to a photo of your best friend without you in it, a photo that might as well just represent the act of erasing you from existence, they would go ahead and use it without a second thought. You are nothing to these girls. And to add insult to injury, it would have hurt less if there weren't 2 cases of this back-to-back. It's like your friends admirer wanted multiple pictures of him and just had to settle for the ones that you happen to be in. A picture where you are smiling ear to ear because of how happy you were, hanging out and doing stuff with your bro. You stare at this picture that once encapsulated you having the time of your life with your friend, now recontextualized to be the bane of your newfound insecurities and jealousy towards who you thought was a friend in the same lonely but at least we have each other boat. Well, at least they didn't crop him out.
I do have a crush. My childhood friend, Jonathan, who grew up on the apple farm right next door to mine.
There is so much to unpack here. First of all, let's just assume that Jonathan is a character who exists. Would this mean that there's a pony out there with a human name Jonathan? I am partially convinced that the name of the author of this book is Jonathan, and he just took this as an opportunity to add his self-insert fanfiction because he has a crush on Applejack. And that's why he's not listed on the cover, because he doesn't want to get exposed. Either that or this is based on a certain Jonathan that the author knows, who presumably grew up with the older generations of the show and always liked Applejack, hence the childhood friend comment. And that this is an inside joke or whatever. You are genuinely the stupidest person I've ever met. Huh? You realize that Applejack mentioned that Jonathan is an apple farmer? So? And you realize that apple ponies are named after apples or apple-related products in the show, right? Yeah, that actually just proves my point. The name is completely out of place. There exists an apple called Jonathan. You really thought you were onto something, huh? Whatever, that's just coincidence.
My biggest fear.
Oh, wow. So in the series, we see these girls going around ponying up and saving the world from evil, which may create a disconnect with the audience, who don't necessarily pony up and save the world from evil in real life. However, as the main characters, they should be relatable, and in order to show relatability, one must show a sense of vulnerability. Therefore, this entire page dedicated to not only just to their fears, but their biggest fears, may actually add a whole lot of different layers of depth to them. So let's read on.
That all the balloons in the world will pop at the same time.
Is this a joke?
That I'll miss out on a single second of being with my best friends.
How about when you're sleeping or in different classes?
I'm not afraid of much. Well, okay, I'm afraid of being cooped up inside for too long. Oh, and of falling asleep in class.
What does that even mean? Who's cooping you up inside for too long? How is falling asleep in class a fear?
I'm terrified of being in the spotlight in front of a crowd, except when we sing together.
Okay, at least this one makes sense.
Sometimes I start thinking about my besties and I get afraid that we might drift apart one day, but I honestly don't think that will happen.
See? Now we're actually getting somewhere close to something resembling emotion. Good job, Applejack.
I wish.
Just like the last page, this is a huge opportunity to make these characters seem more human and perhaps relatable by showing us what they want as their deepest and most personal desire. So let's read on.
I wish I could have a big helping of my grandma's apple pie for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Applejack, I just praised what you said as your biggest fear as being deeply personal. And, you know what? Whatever. Let's move on.
I dream of being a famous fashion designer someday. I wish I could score the winning point in a Thai championship match. The sport doesn't matter. How awesome would that be? Oh, how I wish I had time to have a conversation with every animal I see.
Quite interesting how these three and Applejack have I wishes as their greatest wish, whereas Pinky says
that everyone would make time to relax and have a party every now and then.
Which I guess goes to show that she's actually considerate of others, unlike the other wishes. On that note, Sunset says her greatest wishes,
I wish that there would be no more evil magic ever again. Just good magic.
And I find the juxtaposition of these girls wishing for normal teenage girl stuff, whereas Sunset is wishing for magic things, is kind of interesting. It shows you where these characters' intentions and priorities lie. Though you would hope that the comment that I just said would apply to the rest of this book, but Actually, no, better yet, you would hope that I wouldn't even have to bring this up because, that kind of, it goes without saying for a book like this, right? Yet, here we are.
What I'd like to do after college.
Now, this is an interesting page, though a lot of these are pretty self-explanatory.
Open lots of clothing stores featuring designs by me. Maybe I'll coach soccer or motocross or archery, or maybe I'll form an awesome band. I'm going to be a party planner, of course. I hope to be a veterinarian.
But while one would assume that Applejack would say something about running the family business or something, apparently she wants to get a degree in environmental science. I just thought that was worth mentioning. It's not that important, but that's kind of cool. Sunset says,
instead of taking over the world, I'd like to travel and see it, and also develop apps.
She never really struck me as an app developer, but cool.
Though, speaking of which, how come, once again, this picture of Sunset is the only one without tape over it?
At least they put Twilight's name in here this time. Wow, this is all giving me a headache. If only there was something to take my mind off of this, like a quiz or something. Oh hey, when do you look at that? A quiz. Discover your Canterlot High personality. Which of the girls at Canterlot High are you most like? Take this quiz and find out. Alright, seems simple enough. Question 1. My favorite thing about a party is... out of all of these... I don't know, because I don't really get invited to any parties, but I guess out of these, it would just have to be E, meeting nice people, right? Sure, okay. Question 2. I would like to have the biggest collection of, with stuffed animals. Would that include, My Little Pony plushies? Because I guess, that counts. Okay, I guess we're going with, E again. 3. When I go to bed, I think about, well, Sunset Shimmer, but, that's not an option here, so, probably... well, definitely not this. I always wear the same thing, right? I don't have a garden, so not that. Playing soccer. Do I look like I go outside? Cake? Not necessarily. I guess out of these, it would have to be... I was gonna say A, but there's no point for me to think about whether I was a good friend or not, since I don't really have any friends at all. So I guess, by default, it would have to be riding a horse. 4. My feelings get hurt sometimes when people... tell me I talk with an accent. Do I talk with an accent, guys? Let me know down in the comments if I talk with an accent. I guess out of all this, it would be don't appreciate my advice, because I think I'm a pretty smart person, but some people just don't really, whatever. 5. It's fun to remember the best times I had. I guess the only thing I really do here is I play guitar, so I guess it would have to be D. 6. If I had to pick one symbol to describe me, it would be... Okay, aren't these a little, on the nose? I don't think it would be anything here. I think it would be an F minus, so I guess we're going with F. 7. My favorite color is... Wow, I wonder who D is a reference to. I guess the closest thing here would be pink. I like pink. Also, hey, it's this picture again with freaking Pinky's black outlined ear. My dream vacation. I don't even know what Mardi Gras is. I don't know. Probably a sunny tropical paradise. 9. I would bring this on a picnic. Grill and charcoal, I guess. 10. Favorite subject in school. I guess it would have to be music. Well, okay, after tallying up everything in my head, I got 2 E's and 2 F's and 2 A's. So it's and one of everything else, so I guess I'm none of them. Wow, how anticlimactic. Well, speaking of the main 7, the next 7 pages are each dedicated to a special thing about them. And honestly, it's all kind of filler. Like this page about Pinky's parties, for example. All the points basically just sum up to, these parties are fun. Also, you had the opportunity to use the actual selfie that they took, but instead you'd rather break the fourth wall and create this paradox. Similarly, on this page, all the comments are literally just, Rainbow Dash is cool, in 6 different wordings. I guess it's kind of cool how Indigo Zap gets a line. I just sure do hope that there's no page later on in the book where they go behind her back and insult her. Anyways, because these last few pages were pretty boring, I sure do hope that the next page includes an activity, because we haven't had one of those in a while. Oh hey, look, the government must be listening in on me and updating this book real time, because look, it's an activity. I take that back. This is terrifying and I want to gouge my eyes out with a spoon. At Applejack's house. Wow. Since when was Applejack's house a part of Canterlot High? Everything in her bedroom was already so nicely coordinated in apple red and green. We had so much fun painting balloons on her bedroom wall. Instead of just telling us how awesome and cool her house is, Since this is a visual book with pictures, why not let us see how awesome and cool her house is? I mean, I'm confused with these image selections. I mean, I guess this one makes sense, but how are any of these indicative of how cool and fun Applejack's house is? I get that not from what I recall, her bedroom wasn't shown in Equestria Girls, or at least not up until the point where this book was written. And something tells me that this book wasn't the highest priority for Hasbro's background designers. But like, I mean, come on, man. Bruh. I mean, just like the Rarity Ferris wheel incident, you could just write about things that you actually do have images for. And I think it's kind of funny how these other character-specific pages so far were all about their interests and accomplishments, but Applejack literally just got a page talking about her house and not her as a person. Poor girl. Well, that's what you get for talking down to Sunset earlier. Though, speaking of which, what makes Sunset Shimmer a great friend? Okay, so now you use the selfie photo. Wait a second. What the heck is that? Servers? That's not there in the actual clip of the movie. What even... How did that even get there? Also, I've been trying to be patient so far, which I rarely do, but how many times are they going to reuse this exact photo of Sunset? I mean, let's just quickly comb through this entire book to see how many times they use it. Rainbow Dash gets all of these different pictures of her all the time, so what even... My favorite thing about Twilight Sparkle from Crystal Prep. Wow, let's see what kind of favorite things about Twilight Sparkle from Crystal Prep there are. Well, nothing interesting, apparently. If I could ask Twilight Sparkle and Equestria just one thing, at least this seems pretty interesting. I mean, as boring as I find the Pony Twilight, these normal teen girls do have a direct communication to a freaking princess, so surely they'll ask some super important and relevant questions, right? Oh, I'd love to know what's the latest fashion trend in Equestria. That's a teensy bit shallow, isn't it? I'd like to know what music is really popular there right now. Come on, this is a literal princess you have the opportunity to ask anything to. When can we see you again? Interestingly, they never actually ended up seeing each other again after the writing of this book, right? Unless if you count this brief interaction in Spring Breakdown as them seeing each other.
We're back!
That's actually a pretty depressive thought. Enjoy being with your friends while you still can would be the lesson here. Can we write to each other more? If she's asking this, that means that she writes to Twilight Sparkle pretty often just to get left on read. Well, that's depressing. How can we make all the students at CP appreciate the magic of friendship? Wow, I mean... unfortunate acronym, but this is actually a pretty good question. It's also very depressing. Just knowing in hindsight that we never got like a full-on redemption arc for Crystal Prep, and as far as we know, all the students there will be bitter and selfish for the rest of time. I mean, I guess Dance Magic was sort of an amendment to that, but as far as we know, yeah. If only the Pony Twilight actually responded to these questions, that would be amazing. Oh wait, she did answer. Let's see what kind of thing she answered with. I bet it'll be some top-tier advice applicable to everyday stroke. Oh. I mean, what are we waiting for? Let's go make this bad boy. Alright, so I went ahead and printed this because there's no way I'm gonna cut the actual thing from the book. But it turns out that my printer is out of color. Well, at least it fits with my branding. So apparently, we are now ready to use the cootie catcher and get a message from Twilight Sparkle and Equestria. How to use your cootie catcher. Step 1, find a friend. Ask her to pick one. Guys, this lost me at friend. It lost me extra at the friend being a her. This may have been a complete waste of time. I apologize. Well, it's not like it mattered anyways, because apparently the colors matter for this. Wow, how anticlimactic. Best gift ever. Funny how this book actually outdates the special best gift ever by 2 years. Let's just retroactively call this a reference. Anyways, here, like the name of the section suggests, the girls list off... Actually, I can't tell if it's the best gift they ever received or if it's the best gift they could theoretically receive. I mean, Rarity, Fluttershy, and Applejack are talking about what they do have, but Rainbow Dash's item is worded ambiguously. And I don't even know what's going on with Pinky's lifetime gift card at the party store. What the heck is a lifetime gift card? And not to mention, how does one receive one? You might be thinking, well, Pinky obviously shops at the party store a lot, so of course the workers there would return the favor by giving her something special like that. That makes no sense! Hey, you're her biggest buyer who spends the most amount of money in a store. Here's a card that enables you to get things for free? What are you talking about? Sunset Shimmer says that her best gift ever is forgiveness, no question. Maybe I should try giving that a go sometime. Memories of the friendship games. I mean, just like the other memories of pages, there really isn't much new stuff to go over here. It's literally just a recap of the friendship games. Plus, if I actually did read through all of this without like having anything special to add, then that's technically copyright infringement, so let's just move on. Crystal Prep students. The best thing about CP. Once again, unfortunate abbreviation here, because personally, my favorite thing about CP are the puffles, especially that blue one I had as a kid. Hey, CP, how would you like some Venus flytraps for your school lawn? What, like a chompers? I think everyone should have a couple chompers on their lawn. Either way, what a stupid topic. Like, I thought the whole point of this book was to talk about their school and not like a completely different one. Stupid topic, but at least that's that.
More Crystal Prep students.
I mean, all right then. At least it doesn't seem like the rest of the student body of Canterlot High is going to see this. It seems more like a sacred project that the main 7 are just sharing amongst each other. Like, after all, this is just for Sci-Twi, right? So it's not like they're going to be showing this to others. I say this because some of these comments that these girls are making against this other school and their students is it's a little harsh.
Red full uniforms.
They act all hoity-toity, but they're not all that. Also, Pinky says this comment,
More sour than sweet, that's for sure.
to Rainbow Dash saying,
Lemon Zest and Sunny Flare know how to speed skate really well.
despite the fact that there is a literal character named Sour Sweets that isn't even mentioned in Rainbow Dash's comment. Did they perhaps paste this arrow PNG upside down? Also, what the heck does Fluttershy mean by,
I thought I was a quiet talker, I'm shouting compared to her.
how is she a quiet talker?
Definitely take advice from the person you're competing against!
I mean, if you're going to slander an entire school and its specific students, at least make the roasts applicable. Though, like we established, at least this is only staying in the main friend group, right? And no one else is ever gonna see it. Isolated incident? Ugh. The biggest surprise I ever had was
When Pinkie Pie and I were speed skating and crossed the finish line the same time as the Shadow Bolts. I never skated backwards before, but I was so determined to win for us that
wow, okay, Ramble Rarity.
when that party cannon went off by mistake. Still sorry about that.
I mean, okay, is this page really necessary?
When I hit that bullseye and it was a spinning target.
Really? How surprising could this possibly have been if you were able to give 100% accurate advice on how to actually do it?
You have to stop aiming at where the target is and aim at where the target's gonna be.
When everybody from CHS already knew who I was. Oh, and when Spike started talking, that was really surprising.
You know what? I'm with you here because that actually is surprising. Especially when the main thing forbidding dogs from being able to speak English is the make of their skull. And they'll never be able to enunciate distinct consonants until years of selective breeding and evolution allow for fundamental reshaping of their facial structure. And the shape of Spike's head doesn't change whatsoever before and after the magical transformation. Though still, I mean, I get it, magic, and plus Spike being able to talk has like plot potential, but at least he isn't magically able to write, right? Because, like, you know, pause, that would just be stupid. That would be preposterous. That would just require me to stretch my disbelief to, like, unimaginable heights. I mean, that would be so stupid. Well, at least Spike knows the difference between a Sour Sweet and the Lemon Zest and Sunny Flare.
My favorite pony uptime.
Oh, who cares? Boring. Things I'd be happy to never do again.
No need to ever fight the powers of evil magic again. My wardrobe could barely handle it.
Boy, have I got some news for you. And also, speaking of which, I have some news for you too, viewer. This page is super boring.
How to beat the rainy day blues.
How the okay, like, how does this have anything to do with Canterlot High? Is it possibly because we're nearing the end of the book and there's a specific page number your boss was forcing you to hit, and now you're filling these last couple pages with random odd topics?
You just might find me writing to Princess Twilight Sparkle or Princess Celestia in Equestria. All this is reminding me of is how awesome it would have been if they just released official copies of Sunset's journal rather than whatever the heck this is. I either stay in and sketch out new designs for my next fashion show, or I go outside wearing my latest stormy weather wardrobe.
Fashion? Isn't that your one-note answer to literally every question in this book?
I'll be shredding my guitar and rocking to music.
Playing guitar? Isn't that your one-note answer to literally every question in this book?
I go outside and splash in the puddles with the ducks.
Animal stuff? Isn't that your one-note answer to literally every question in this book?
I usually put together a rainy day party complete with balloons, glitter, cupcakes, and music by the Rainbooms.
Party stuff? Isn't that your answer to literally every question in this book? Okay, you know what? Honestly, this page was seriously probably only included just because they had to meet a certain page quota, and you know, I bet that the thought process behind this specific page was, what's an incredibly broad question we can pull out of nowhere where any answer would apply? I mean, at least Applejack didn't answer with, eat some apples. She responded with,
I love the smell of rain.
You know what? That might actually be worse than eat some apples. If you asked someone, hey, how do you beat the rainy day blues? And that person responded with, I love the smell of rain. You would look at that person as if they are a lunatic. How is this excusable? Did this even go through more than one draft? And once again, how does this have anything to do with Canterlot High?
Best slumber party ever.
Whatever. This is the penultimate page, so let's just hope that we're going to end on a high note. Yeah, this isn't a freaking high note. I mean, I guess this card is pretty cool. A very specific address here. Signing off. And after this arduous adventure through this novel, we reach the conclusion. And just like we let these girls introduce themselves, I'll let them sign us off. No matter what challenges a day may bring, we all are fabulous together. Okay. We are like a great sports team, stronger together than we are alone. If you're trying to make me emotional, it's not gonna work. Being kind to each other makes great magic happen. This book sucks. You're not gonna make me cry at the last second. Honestly, we are the best of the best. We have been through a lot, but always come out laughing and happy. No, my criticisms of this book weren't just because I'm bitter because I have no friends. What a difference strong friendships make in a girl's life. Enemies can become friends and turn the darkness into light. Yeah, I know. I also have a lot of friends that love me. There's something magical about us all being together. I'm looking forward to seeing our friendship grow. No, I will not let this silly little book get me emotional and vulnerable. I'm gonna go back to critiquing it. Like, what's with this distribution of stickers? Yeah, that's right. I'll just complain about that. Why couldn't we just spread them out a little? It's very cluttered here. And, this font, it's ugly. Is this an I or a lowercase L? Yeah, that's what we should focus on. The end. All right, then. That concludes my A Book a Year challenge. I'm sure that you've noticed while we were combing over this, but, for a product that boasts itself as a tell-all, it didn't tell much. In fact, it told very little, if not nothing. Especially when 75% of it are literally just recaps of redundant information that we can get from watching the movies. I mean, seriously, you could have named this something like Meet the Equestria Girls, and it would have made so much more sense. Calling it Canterlot High Tell-All is a little misleading, I think. Yeah, it started off strong, talking about their classes and teachers and stuff like that because it actually relates to their school, but it eventually delves into redundant recaps and not a whole lot of new information. And yes, I get the irony, okay? The humor isn't lost on me. I get that this book is for little girls and not for grown men who live with their parents with neck beards like me, okay? But still, even on a fundamental level of buying and selling a product, is it ethical to call your thing a tell-all just to, like, you know, give you redundant information that you already know? Because if you want to buy this book and read it, I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that you've seen the movies already. And the actual title of this book is barely actually really relevant to the contents itself. I mean, what does it matter now? This book is like years old and isn't even in production anymore, but like, it's a thought to chew on. Speaking of chewing on things, if you would like to help me chew on things and continue to eat so I can continue to live and make these videos, feel free to join these awesome people and pledge to my Patreon. I made it so that you can get all benefits such as exclusive videos and behind the scenes and previews and stuff like that at the lowest tier, with the other two just being there for extra support if you feel so inclined. This is because there's some really big and ambitious projects that are coming up in the very near future and could use all the help that I can get. So, well, until next time, this has been F- signing out.